Most of us have been there. A drink or two to take the edge off before a big event. Even rock stars get nervous sometimes. But there's a fine line between easing stage fright and getting so wasted that you forget the lyrics to your biggest hit. It's a line that should never be crossed. Unfortunately, these 15 rock stars didn't get the memo. Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. Stay with us as we count down 15 rock stars who took partying too far on stage. 15. Rihanna at Perth Arena, Australia. More than 40 minutes late, she appeared on stage sporting a mullet, and within the first minute had begun grabbing and rubbing her crotch, something that continued unabated for most of the show, and for those playing along at home, was accompanied by lyrics like, "Come and put your name on it," and "Boy, I want to fet you right now." She continued and finished the concert largely carried by her backup singers and backing tracks, while she danced across the stage with or without her microphone in her mouth. Later that year, she was escorted from the concert in Poland. As you can see, she was totally wasted. 14th Slash of Guns N' Roses at New York City's The Ritz. In an interview with People, Slash has revealed that he does not have any recollections of his early gigs due to his overconsumption of alcohol. "It was such a drunken kind of thing, and it was just for the fun of it," he said. "I do not recall any of those gigs." One of the most famous moments from the era was Guns N' Roses' concert at New York City's The Ritz drunk. There are several priceless moments from this classic GNR gig. Slash plays the intro of Welcome to the Jungle in a totally different key, and isn't above messing up the intro to Sweet Child O' Mine. Come on, Slash, we can totally nail it on Guitar Hero. 13th, Billie Joe Armstrong of Green Day at the iHeartRadio Festival. Billie took an immediate trip to rehab after this infamous onstage meltdown, triggered when event organizers cut his set short. To his credit, he isn't Justin Bieber. 12. David Lee Roth of Van Halen at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland, California. Van Halen was as hard drinking as any 80s hard rock band, and consummate frontman and cartoon come to life David Lee Roth was no exception. The band was tapped to headline Rock Day at the 1983 US Festival, a ginormous days-long event that was the brainchild of then 32-year-old Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak. The band showed up to the festival in pretty ragged shape after having spent the previous 3 months touring. Roth gave a sign of things to come by giving a loud, incoherent interview to MTV VJ Mark Goodman, who described Roth as drunk and coked up, laughing at every joke he made before their set. 11. Amy Winehouse, Belgrade, Serbia 2011. I remember this concert very well. Moby performed that evening as well, and I remember he posted a tweet along these lines: "I don't know Amy Winehouse, but I sincerely hope that someone close to her can intervene and get her some help. It's truly heartbreaking."
I was drinking a lot, not anything terrible.
Unfortunately, it was too late. A month later, Amy Winehouse became part of the infamous 27 Club, a fate she had eerily predicted. During what was supposed to be her comeback tour shortly before her death, Winehouse angered fans when she showed up completely drunk for a performance in Belgrade, Serbia, despite being banned from drinking on tour. She started the night by greeting the crowd with "Hello, Athens," which isn't in Serbia, before delivering a mumbling, incoherent set. She spent most of the show stumbling, sitting down, and wandering off stage. 10. Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys in Sydney, Australia. It wasn't all fun in the sun for these California boys. Their story is filled with all sorts of crazy twists and turns, including violence, incest, mental illness, and even run-ins with mass murderer Charles Manson. So with that in mind, Baby Wilson Brothers' slurry on stage performance isn't all that shocking. 9. Avril Lavigne at LA Ski Club. Avril gets a pass here because it wasn't technically her own show. The band Steel Panther pulled her up for a rendition of this Joan Jett classic, as well as power ballad Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Despite the band's promises, it totally ended up on YouTube and TMZ. 8. Kiss, January 1st, 1995. There are plenty of rock and roll moments in a Kiss show where the cold gin can kick in and take the performance to the next level. Just look at the ace here on stage. 7. Liam Gallagher of Oasis in France, 1997. The younger Gallagher brother is notoriously temperamental. Remember the time he was sick for the Unplugged show? He hates his biggest hit song. At this point, he hates his ex-band, so it's really not a surprise that he would show up to a gig totally trashed. And while we're at it, 6. Pete Doherty in Moscow. Am I surprised Pete Doherty is still alive? No, he's too smart to die. Watch him live to 90. Sometimes life just rolls the dice with who it chooses to go first. Some of the classic rockers that are still around should be long dead by now, but are still looking decently healthy. 5. Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots at the Woodlands in Houston. Weiland's banter in between songs was odd and confusing. Rumor was that Weiland was using a backing tape on this tour, and possibly previous ones. But his onstage meltdowns became increasingly commonplace, which contributed to the band's decision to fire him in February 2013. 4. Jim Morrison of The Doors in Miami. Jim Morrison was no stranger to wild onstage antics, but his March 1969 show in Miami became the stuff of rock and roll legend. That night, he pushed the crowd into a chaotic frenzy and was allegedly guilty of the ultimate shock move, exposing himself on stage. There's no photographic proof, and his bandmates have repeatedly denied it ever happened, but that didn't stop the controversy. A court case followed, and Morrison was sentenced to 6 months in jail. He remained free while appealing the verdict, but if anyone thought that would tame him, they were very wrong, as this recording from a year later proves. 3rd, Ozzy Osbourne. During a tour in Japan, Ozzy was so drunk that he forgot his wife Sharon was with him. He brought another woman back to his room, and we can only guess what happened next. Of course, Ozzy being drunk isn't exactly breaking news. Asking, remember that time Ozzy Osbourne was drunk on stage? Doesn't exactly narrow things down. Here's one example. Ozzy was performing the Black Sabbath classic War Pigs in Cincinnati when a drunken fan made their way on stage. Instead of stopping the show, Ozzy went with it, and the two of them finished the song together. The vocals were, unsurprisingly, a bit shaky, but mostly on Ozzy's end. 2. Keith Moon of The Who, Keith Moon the Loon, wasn't just drinking, he was battling animal tranquilizers to stay on his feet during this performance. He lasted about 70 minutes before passing out behind the drum kit and had to be carried off stage to sleep it off. But what could have been a disaster turned into an incredible moment for one unbelievably lucky fan. Guitarist Pete Townshend asked the crowd if there was a drummer in the house, and just like that, 19-year-old Scott Halpin was pulled on stage to finish the set, playing 3 songs with his rock idols. 1. Scott Stapp of Creed. In 2002, the band Creed put on such a bad show at the Allstate Arena in Illinois that a $2 million class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of all of the fans in attendance. Lead singer Scott Stapp was supremely medicated to the point that he wasn't able to perform. According to court documents, he was so intoxicated and/or medicated that he was unable to sing the lyrics of a single Creed song. Instead, during the Creed concert, Stapp left the stage for long periods of time, rolled around on the floor of the stage in apparent pain or distress, and appeared to pass out while on stage. He's since gotten himself clean and apologizes for the incident in the pages of his 2012 autobiography. From epic fails to legendary disasters, these performances prove that even rock legends can crash and burn. If you enjoyed this list, hit that like button, subscribe for more wild music moments, and let us know in the comments which performance shocked you the most. Feel free to explore more exciting videos in the channel. See you in the next one.